The first time I lied to my followers, I told myself it was harmless. But that small lie spiraled into a reality that I couldn't escape. Emma said, I felt their eyes on me, but none of them knew me. The applause of strangers drowned the silence inside my chest. The glow of the ring light became my sun, but outside of it, I was fading. I built a world where smiles were currency and perfection was a mask, glued to my skin. Noah said, You've got everything people dream of, but I knew he was talking to a stranger I invented. Each click of the camera shutter was a nail in the coffin of who I used to be. I stared at the girl on the screen, flawless and adored, while the girl in the mirror whispered that she was gone. The crowd adored Emma, but they never saw the hollow behind her eyes. Every brand deal, every photo, every fake laugh was a brick in the cage I made. Emma said, I told myself I was in control, but the truth was the mask began to control me. The betrayal of myself was louder than the applause. And yet I smiled as if nothing was broken. Emma said, They didn't follow me. They followed her. The persona I invented was radiant, untouchable, and admired. But I was invisible behind her glow. Noah told me, You're stronger than you think. Yet even his words could not pierce the glass wall between me and the world. The crowd adored the character, not the fragile girl who lived in her shadow. Every post was another mask, another performance for faceless strangers who demanded perfection. My laughter became a script, my tears became hidden drafts never published. The silence between uploads was suffocating, as if existence outside the screen had no meaning. I scrolled endlessly, searching for approval in numbers, clinging to strangers who never knew my name. Emma said, I told myself they loved me, but deep down, I knew it was her they loved, not me. Emma said, the applause was addictive. Each like was a heartbeat, each share was oxygen, and I chased them like a drowning soul gasping for air. Noah reminded me, you deserve more than this performance, but I could not stop. Every DM I answered, every smile I crafted, was another thread pulled from the fragile fabric of who I was. The sound of silence when I logged off was unbearable, so I drowned it with fake perfection. Even when my hands trembled, I held the phone steady, convincing the world I was fine. The truth is, I was terrified that if I stopped pretending, no one would see me at all. Emma said, the mask grew heavier. With every post, I forgot a little more of who I was. Noah whispered, I miss the old you, but I wasn't sure she existed anymore. The crowd's love was conditional, their adoration sharp as glass, and I bled with every smile I forced. I became both idol and prisoner, chained by filters, likes, and expectations. My own voice was swallowed by the echo of applause. Each time I looked in the mirror, the girl staring back felt like a stranger, and I wondered if the real me had died the day I became her. Emma said, the silence terrified me more than the hate. At least hate meant they saw me, but silence meant I was nothing. Noah said, you're not invisible, yet I felt more unseen than ever. The crowd adored the ghost I built, not the girl trembling in the shadows. I became addicted to their gaze, fearing the moment they looked away. Even in quiet rooms, the roar of their absence was deafening. Emma said, I wasn't living anymore, I was performing a ghost's life. And the worst part, I started to forget where she ended and where I began. Emma said, the spotlight burned brighter, but inside I was collapsing. The crowd adored her, but no one knew me. Noah whispered, you don't have to prove anything, yet his words felt powerless against the roar of likes and shares. My worth had become a number, a currency of hearts, follows, and views. Emma whispered, without them, I was nothing. At night, when the glow faded, silence swallowed me whole. I sat in the dark, scrolling endlessly, searching for myself in comments from strangers. They told me who I was, and I believed them more than I believed my own reflection. Noah's voice tried to reach me, but his love couldn't compete with their obsession. Emma said I didn't want their eyes on her, I wanted their eyes on me. But the world only saw the ghost. Emma said, every heart icon was oxygen, but the high never lasted. The silence that followed was darker, sharper. Noah muttered, "You're drowning in strangers who don't know you," but his truth felt unbearable. Each scroll pulled me deeper into a void I couldn't escape. My chest tightened when notifications slowed, panic rising in the quiet. Emma whispered, "I didn't crave love. I craved attention, and the difference was poison." Every like soothed me, then vanished like smoke. I refreshed again and again, desperate to matter. Noah's eyes begged me to look up, but I couldn't lift my gaze. The crowd adored her, the flawless ghost, and I starved as Emma faded further into shadows. Emma said, "I built a palace of glass, and the world lived inside it with me. Each photo polished, each caption rehearsed, each smile another pane of fragile truth." Noah told me, "You never let them see the real you," but the real me had become a stranger. The walls glittered online, but I heard them cracking. Emma whispered, "Glass always shatters," and I was breaking with it. Nights bled into mornings as I chased validation, scrolling until my hands ached. I watched followers rise, but with each number, my reflection blurred. The applause was deafening, but it wasn't for me. It was for the mask. Noah's voice was steady, but I silenced it with screams. Emma said the palace sparkled, but it was only a cage of glass. Emma said, "Even love became performance." Noah reached for me, but my hand stayed wrapped around my phone. He murmured, "I miss when your eyes were mine," but my gaze stayed locked on strangers. Every brand deal built walls between us, and each post pulled me further from his reach. Emma whispered, "I was loved by millions, yet unseen by the one who mattered most." My laughter echoed in videos, but with Noah, silence filled the space. He watched me from across the couch, and I didn't see him. I was too busy performing for people who would never know me. Noah's love was steady, but I ignored it for the fleeting rush of strangers. Emma said, "Love became currency, and I sold us both." Emma said loneliness grew like ivy, creeping into every corner. The louder I laughed online, the quieter my heart became. Noah pleaded, "Just look at me, not them," but his voice couldn't cut through the crowd's endless noise. The ghost thrived while Emma withered. I scrolled in dark rooms, terrified that silence meant I didn't exist. Emma whispered, "They didn't love me. They loved her." The ivy wrapped tighter, choking the last pieces of who I used to be. My reflection blurred, my voice silenced, my truth erased. Noah stood in doorways, begging with his eyes, but I couldn't look up. The crowd had replaced him, replaced me, replaced everything. Emma said, "I wasn't living anymore. I was performing, even in my own silence." Emma said, "Every smile I posted was another crack in the mask." The world adored me, but inside I was drowning. Noah said, "You're unraveling." And I hated that he was right. I crafted replies that weren't mine, words polished like glass but sharp enough to cut me. Brand managers promised fame, yet their hands pulled my strings like I was a puppet. Emma whispered, "I sold pieces of my soul for applause, trading truth for attention." Every DM, every caption, every fake laugh became evidence of my collapse. The crowd devoured perfection, blind to the human breaking behind it. Their love was conditional, their devotion fleeting, their hunger insatiable. Emma said, "Each post was a battlefield, and I was both the soldier and the casualty." Emma said, "Every brand deal was another chain locked around me. They dressed me in scripted smiles and demanded flawless illusions." Noah told me, "They don't care about you, only your image," and his voice cracked with frustration. But my hands still signed contracts, my lips still stretched into forced grins. The cameras flashed and I became their product. Emma whispered, "I danced like a puppet while they tugged invisible strings." Each photo shoot drained me, each ad widened the distance between me and truth. The crowd clapped louder, mistaking my surrender for joy. I told myself I had control, but deep down I knew I was owned. Emma said, "Even the people I loved began to feed on me. My friends used my name for their clout, my family for money, strangers for entertainment." Noah sighed, "You're giving everything away, and they'll leave you hollow. His words stung because they were true. At dinners, my friends lifted phones instead of glasses, capturing me like a trophy. My family smiled for the cameras while pressing for more, each request disguised as love. Emma whispered, "They didn't love me. They loved what I gave them." I laughed through it, a laugh as brittle as glass, hoping it would drown the truth. The more they took, the less of me remained. Emma said, "The mask slipped in public. My eyes betrayed me before my lips did, exhaustion seeping through flawless makeup." Noah whispered, "They'll see you breaking," but the crowd didn't care. They cheered the illusion while my real self fractured beneath the surface. Every event was a stage where my smile was armor and my silence was survival. The cameras caught the cracks, and the crowd pretended not to see. Emma whispered, "Every lie demanded a bigger one, and soon I couldn't keep up. The mask had a life of its own, and I was its prisoner." Emma said, "I was unraveling in plain sight. I posted pictures of joy while drowning in despair." Noah pleaded, "Tell them the truth." But I couldn't. The crowd adored the ghost I built, and the ghost demanded more of me each day. My hands shook as I pressed post, my chest hollow as comments poured in. The applause felt like knives, sharp and relentless. Emma whispered, "The mask wasn't slipping anymore, it was eating me alive." I was no longer pretending to be her. I had become her, and I was disappearing. Emma said, "The betrayal didn't come from the crowd. It came from Lily. She was my confidant, my supposed friend, the one I trusted with the pieces of me that no one else saw." Noah warned me, "She knows too much," but I brushed him off. Late nights filled with whispered secrets, shared tears, and quiet promises felt safe, but they weren't. Lily gathered my truths like ammunition, and when the moment was right, she fired them into the world. Emma whispered, "I wasn't destroyed by strangers. I was destroyed by the person I thought I could lean on." My phone filled with headlines I didn't write, words twisted, truths turned to poison. The applause turned to gasps, and the gasps turned to laughter. Noah's voice broke, "She betrayed you, Emma," but I already knew. Emma said, "The truth wasn't mine anymore. It belonged to the world." Screens glowed with confessions I never made, stories twisted from the secrets I once whispered. Noah muttered, "You gave her your trust and she sold it," his voice bitter with anger. Lily's face appeared on feeds, her voice calm and sharp as she revealed fragments of my life that were never meant for strangers. The crowd devoured each word, their comments stinging sharper than any lie I ever told. Emma whispered, "They didn't punish me for being fake, they punished me for being real." My silence became proof of guilt, my pain became entertainment. The mask slipped, and instead of compassion, they celebrated the fall. Emma said, "I thought family would protect me, but they joined the stage." My mother's smile widened as she praised my success, while her hands quietly pushed me toward more deals. My brother's voice asked for money with each new campaign, his eyes hungry, not grateful. Noah muttered, "They don't see you as Emma. They see you as a paycheck." I forced smiles at dinners, the sound of utensils clashing with the echo of my breaking heart. Emma whispered, "I wasn't their daughter anymore. I was their product." Even at the table, I wasn't eating with family. I was feeding them with my fame. Emma said, "Even rivals sharpened their knives." Olivia, another influencer, smiled into her camera while her captions cut me to pieces. Noah growled, "She's feeding off your collapse." Olivia's rise mirrored my fall. Her streams buzzed, her comments flooded with praise, and every post reminded the world of my failure. The crowd adored her confidence while mocking my cracks. Emma whispered, "I wasn't just losing my mask, I was losing my place." The ghost I created was being stolen, rebranded, and celebrated by Olivia, and I was powerless to stop it. Emma said, "The cruelest twist was realizing the ghost thrived while I withered." Online, she was alive, flawless, adored, immortal. In reality, I was fading. Noah whispered, "You're disappearing, Emma," and for the first time I believed him. Fans wrote to her, not to me. They adored the ghost, not the fragile girl who sat broken behind the screen. Emma whispered, "The person they loved never existed. She was a ghost I built out of everything I wasn't." The twist wasn't betrayal by others. It was betrayal by myself. Emma said, "The storm came louder than I ever feared." My name trended, not for beauty, but for ruin. Noah shouted, "You can't face this alone." But I was already condemned. My phone pulsed with venom, each comment a dagger. Words like fraud, fake, liar carved into my chest, and I let them. Emma whispered, "Cancellation wasn't the death. It was the silence after that killed me." The crowd who once worshipped me vanished, their absence a crueler wound than their hate. My empire of filters, sponsors, and masks collapsed in seconds. Noah grabbed my shoulders. "You are still here." But I wasn't sure if he was right. I wasn't Emma anymore. I was the ghost they buried. Emma said my empire collapsed in digital flames. Emails came, not with offers, but with rejection. Contracts erased overnight. Noah muttered, "They used you until you were empty," his voice cracking. Screens filled with termination notices, and the silence of brands was louder than the applause that built me. Emma whispered, "The cage I built didn't break open, it crushed me when it fell." I stared at shredded contracts on the floor, fingers trembling, wondering if I had ever been more than a product. Noah clenched his fists. "You deserve better." But all I saw was emptiness. Fame had left me, love had left me, and all that remained was the echo of betrayal. Emma said the hate became my only soundtrack. My phone screamed insults, every message sharper than the last. Noah urged, "Turn it off," but I couldn't. The crowd's words pinned me down, their voices louder than my own. They said liar. They said fraud. They said nothing about Emma. Emma whispered, "I wasn't fighting for understanding. I was fighting to exist." I typed responses that vanished into the void, swallowed by the avalanche of hate. Noah reached for me, but I pulled away, drowning in glowing screens. My heart beat with every insult, and I believed them more than I believed myself. Emma said a noise stopped, but the silence was worse. The crowd moved on, hungry for the next ghost to adore or destroy. Noah whispered, "They've forgotten you." But forgetting was more painful than hate. My name disappeared from feeds. My posts met with nothing. Emma whispered, "True death wasn't cancellation, it was erasure." I screamed in the darkness, but no one listened. The world had already replaced me. Noah sat in silence, helpless, watching me crumble. The applause I once lived for was gone, and in its place was a hollow void that echoed louder than any cheer. Emma said. I shattered into silence. My hands trembled as I dropped the phone, screen splintering like glass. Noah rushed forward. "Emma, you're still here," but I felt hollow. The ghost had devoured me whole, leaving only fragments of the girl I used to be. My scream tore through the quiet, raw and jagged. But it changed nothing. Emma whispered. The mask didn't slip. It consumed me, and Emma disappeared. The climax wasn't scandal, wasn't loss of contracts, wasn't even the hate. It was the death of myself, the burial of truth beneath a flawless ghost. I lay in Noah's arms, but even he couldn't hold together what was already gone. Emma said, the silence after the storm was unbearable. No applause, no hate, no voices, just nothing. I thought emptiness would free me, but it suffocated instead. Noah whispered, "This is your chance to breathe." But I only felt hollow. The ghost had vanished, leaving me alone with the ashes of a life I had built on lies. My phone no longer pulsed with notifications, but the quiet was louder than any crowd. Emma whispered, "I thought I wanted fame, but maybe I only wanted to be seen." For the first time, there were no eyes watching, no comments shaping me. I sat in the stillness, trying to remember what it felt like to exist outside of performance. The emptiness wasn't freedom, it was a mirror, and I hated what it showed. Emma said, "I searched for the girl I lost." The mirror reflected her face, but she felt like a stranger. Noah stood in the doorway, whispering, "She's still there, just buried." His voice was tender, but my hands trembled as they touched the glass. I no longer recognized myself without filters, without edits. The ghost had lived longer than me, louder than me, stronger than me. Emma whispered, "I don't know if I can find her again." The reflection showed me bare, raw, fragile, stripped of the mask I had worn so long, it felt like skin. For the first time I saw Emma, not the influencer, not the ghost, just Emma. And I wasn't sure if I could forgive her for disappearing. Emma said, "I tried to rebuild, piece by fragile piece. I deleted apps, closed contracts, unplugged the ring light." Noah whispered, "One step at a time, that's enough," and he handed me a blank notebook. I stared at the empty pages, terrified by their silence, but also tempted by their promise. Emma whispered for the first time, "I wasn't performing, I was existing." It felt strange, like breathing air after years underwater. The crowd was gone, the applause erased, the hate dissolved. What remained was quiet, and it felt heavy, but it was mine. I began to write, not for them, not for likes, but for myself. Each word was shaky, imperfect, but real. Emma said, the emptiness softened into something else. I stepped outside without makeup, without a mask, without fear. The air was sharp, the sky wide, the world indifferent. Noah smiled beside me, saying, "This is you." His words didn't feel like pressure. They felt like freedom. For the first time in years, I didn't measure myself through a screen. Emma whispered, "I wasn't flawless, wasn't adored, but I was human." Every step felt unsteady, but it was real. I walked with the weight of loss, but also the fragile possibility of beginning again. The silence didn't suffocate this time. It breathed with me. Emma said, "The ghost still lingered, but she was fading." Sometimes I still heard her whisper, reminding me of what I lost, of who I pretended to be. But her voice grew weaker each day. Noah told me, "You're stronger than her now." And for once, I believed him. Emma whispered, "I thought I wanted to be remembered, but now I just want to be real." I sat in the soft glow of sunset, pen in hand, notebook filling with truths no one would ever see. This time, the words belonged to me alone. The applause was gone, but I didn't crave it anymore. I had found something quieter, something truer, something human. Emma said, "I thought the end would come with noise, but it came with silence. No hate, no applause, no voices, just the sound of my breath." Noah whispered, "Maybe this is peace," but I wasn't sure. The ghost lingered in the edges of my mind, but she no longer ruled me. Emma said, "I learned that being unseen is not death. It's a kind of freedom." For the first time, I wasn't terrified of being forgotten. Emma said, "The world didn't end when they left me behind." The applause was gone, the contracts gone, but I was still here. Noah told me, "You're more than a screen." I wanted to believe him. Emma whispered, "For the first time, I'm learning to be Emma, not her, not the ghost, just me." The truth didn't heal instantly, but it began to stitch the pieces together. Emma said, "I stopped waiting for their love." The crowd moved on, hungry for the next perfect ghost. I let them go. Noah said, "You don't need them anymore." For once, I felt that he might be right. Emma whispered, "They will never know me, and I will never need them to." The empire of lies had burned, and from the ashes, I was choosing truth. Emma said, "The ghost will always haunt me, but she is weaker now. She whispers less, and when she does, I answer with silence." Noah reminded me, "You've already won by surviving." I nodded, realizing survival was enough. Emma whispered, "I don't want to be remembered anymore. I just want to live unseen, unfiltered, unmasked." The final curtain had fallen, and I wasn't afraid of the dark. Emma said, "And that's why you'll never see me online again. The ghost is buried, the applause gone, the mask shattered." Noah whispered, "Goodbye to her. Hello to you." And I felt something close to peace. I closed the door on the life that almost destroyed me, the endless cycle of lies and performance. Silence followed, sharp and final, a silence that once terrified me but now felt like freedom. Emma whispered, "I thought I wanted to be adored, but all I wanted was to be real. For years I chased love in numbers, in comments, in fleeting hearts, but none of it touched me. The truth was that the only eyes I ever wanted to see me were my own. I thought being remembered mattered, but what mattered was being alive without masks. The ghost is gone, and Emma remains.